Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Craig McBennett. I'm the Director of Business Development here at Estate Research Canada. It's a pleasure to have you with me this afternoon. I'm joined by my colleague Mike Boyle, who, well, he was here a second ago. Mike? Oh, it looks like he's unavailable right now. Maybe he's fashionably late. Regardless, we'll move forward. We're looking at about 45 minutes this afternoon for the presentation itself, and then we'll leave some time at the end for some questions, should you have any. I come to you today from sunny Niagara in Ontario, where the weather's about 35 degrees. I'm in my shorts, but we're going to make the best of it and try not to be jealous, Dom. Read it and weep. Anyway, let's move forward. As I mentioned, my name is Craig McBennett, Business Development Director, Relationship Manager for Estate Research Canada. I head up the business development from coast to coast, from the east to the west, along with my colleague Mike Boyle. Both of us had worked at LexisNexis for many years, heading up a national sales team, working with law firms like yourself and lawyers like yourself at a national level, and really had a great experience working with solicitors and lawyers. So we're glad to be back in that space. Today's presentation isn't about building family trees or genealogy as a hobby. It's quite the opposite, actually. We can use that as a kickoff point, but it's more about reducing risk for you as lawyers, identifying correct beneficiaries and heirs, not just in Canada and domestically. We do this globally and at a global level. Locating heirs throughout the world, essentially. Obtaining documentary evidence needed to administer estates confidently. This is very important for you because you want to make sure that you do your due diligence, and we are here to help you facilitate that. Throughout today's session, I'll show you how our international network assists lawyers like yourself. We have an expansive network of researchers across the globe in all the main hubs to facilitate the work that we do. Locating missing beneficiaries and heirs, verifying family relationships, which can be very complicated and very time-consuming, so we're going to take that workload off of you. Obtaining overseas documentation, which again can be very cumbersome, is something that we excel at. Dealing with international estate administration, and solving cases that quite frankly initially appear impossible, but we turn the impossible into possible with the excellent work that we do and the researchers that we have at a global level. Rather than simply talking about our services, I'm going to actually show you examples of investigations we've completed and facilitated here in Canada and overseas, because I think they demonstrate far better than any brochure what probate genealogy really involves. As I mentioned before, it's at a global level, so it can be very complicated, but that's why we exist, to help and partner with great individuals like yourself. Our goal is by the end of the presentation, you'll have a much better understanding of when estate research can assist and how we can help move difficult files and estate files forward. Sometimes they get stuck, sometimes they've been sitting on your desk for many years, and we were just at the STEP conference, and one of the takeaways that Mike and I noticed was people would come to us and say, I wish that we knew you were available to us 6 months ago. We had a file that we couldn't solve for. But the good news is we're here moving forward, and our job is to get in front of people like yourself, do these types of lunch and learns, and really bring the knowledge to the forefront and be an extension and a partner of your particular business. So let's start with a little bit of a background about estate research. We specialize in international probate genealogy since 2001, so we have 25 years in this space with offices in both the UK, and now we're actually in Canada. You can see here we've opened our Canadian office. I believe it was in the fall of last year. Some of you attended our event at ROM. That was kind of our kickoff. So we have an event, we have an office at 161 Bay Street, right downtown where all the action is. But Mike and I, we do a lot of traveling. We're actually doing a road show with Estate Search and some other partners, Custodius, Estate Planner as an example. We'll be taking that across the country. We're also doing our own individual lunch and learns. We're going to be out in the East Coast starting on the 17th of August with some of the firms out there, and we're going to take our message across the country to make sure people know that we're here to help and to build those relationships and solve some of these problems. Our role is to support wills, estates, and trust lawyers, much like yourself, trust companies as well. We work with the trust companies and estate practitioners by locating missing heirs and beneficiaries, wherever they be in the world. So as you can see here, and we'll talk about this later in a more in-depth situation, but we have researchers all over the globe that are here to support us. The key thing is every estate, as you can attest to, is different. Sometimes all the beneficiaries are known and local, sometimes they're not. There may be no next of kin, the family may have emigrated generations ago, or the estate may involve several different countries. My family and I came from Scotland when I was about 5 years old. Since that time, yes, my parents have passed, but some of my immediate family has moved to take jobs in different parts of the world, my nieces and my nephews. So people don't stay in one place, especially today. They tend to move around, which can make this job a little bit more difficult. That's where our expertise comes into the matter to support you. We have built an international network of trusted researchers who understand the record systems, the languages, and local archives within their own countries, which is crucial because you want to have that local area of expertise to help move these things forward. Rather than expecting lawyers to navigate those systems by themselves, we coordinate the research on their behalf. One achievement we're particularly proud of is being named UK Probate Research Firm of the Year in 2024. Why is that important? Well, 25 years into the game, that's a massive accolade, and our goal is to bring that into Canada. As you can see, we have researchers all over the globe. We have a global presence. We have been in Canada since 2018, so we have about 8 years working with the law firms. There's some work to be done, but that is our goal, is to bring that same level of expertise and award service to the Canadian market. Throughout today's presentation, I'll show you practical examples of how that international expertise helps solve estate files that might otherwise remain unsolved. And really, as I mentioned to you before, there was a few examples even at the STEP conference where individual lawyers had situations where they could not resolve some of those files, and they had hired us pretty much on the spot to come and have a look and see what we could do. To give you an idea of the scale of our work, let me show you where we've successfully traced beneficiaries around the world. One of the biggest challenges we help lawyers with is locating these beneficiaries who are missing, unknown, or live somewhere else in the world. Families do move, people emigrate, relationships are lost over generations. We see this time and time again, and I'm sure you've seen this as well in your work. It is now very common for somebody to die in Canada while their closest surviving relatives are living overseas. And I can personally attest to that as well. A person may have been born in Canada, but their parents or grandparents may have come from potentially another country, just like mine. Over time, branches of the family can spread across different continents, making it extremely difficult for an estate practitioner like yourself to identify and locate the correct heirs. And when I say correct heirs, that's exactly what it is. We want to find the right people. This is where international probate genealogy becomes so crucial. Our role is to investigate family history, identify the rightful beneficiaries, and provide the evidence needed to support the estate administration process, which is basically the work that you're doing. As you can see from our map here, our research has taken us all over the world. We have located beneficiaries throughout North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Oceania. And we'll talk a little bit about that more in depth later on as I get into the presentation to show our breadth and depth of what we do and in all these different places across the globe. The important point is that finding a beneficiary is not a simple matter of searching for a name online. It can be done. We have social media, we've got Facebook, we have Instagram, all these great places, and it's not a bad place to start. But more often than not, it gets a little bit more complicated, and that's where we step in. Every country has different record systems, privacy rules, languages to deal with, archives structures, approaches to recording births, marriages, and deaths are all different. That's why experience and knowledge are so important, and that's why we're here to help. And that leads nicely into one of our biggest strengths, our worldwide network of researchers, as you can see again by our map. As you can see from the map, our work takes us all over the globe. Although we are based in Canada and the UK, probate genealogy is an international service. Families move, people emigrate, and over generations, relatives can become separated across different countries. When someone dies without known heirs, the challenge is not simply finding a name, it is proving the family connection and identifying the correct people who are legally entitled to inherit the estate. Every country has its own record systems, its own rules around access to the information, and its own way of recording vital events such as births, marriages, and deaths. Some countries have centralized databases, while others require research through local archives, municipalities, churches, or government offices. That is why local expertise, as you can see here in all these main pockets, is crucial. Our international network allows us to work with researchers who understand the records, the history, and culture of the countries where we are searching. So they're local and they understand the local rules, which is absolutely crucial. The combination of global reach and local knowledge allows us to successfully trace beneficiaries throughout the globe. To explain how this works, I'd like to share one of our famous and one of our favorite case studies.